Hello, my name is Shadley and welcome back for another episode of Curtain Steel in Supreme Royal Ultimate. In previous episode, we managed to capture quite a bit of Mauritania for ourselves for the time being, and we will eventually probably make it a independent state. Although I do wonder, can we even do that right now? Eventually. Yeah, we could release land loyal to this region. We're not going to do that quite yet until we actually capture all of it. But once we have, we'll probably make them independent, and hopefully that'll keep them in our sphere. But it seems that there's been a upheaval in Iraq, and they become a dictatorship. We could support the change, and they were already sort of leaning towards us before that. I don't know if no, it didn't make that much of a difference. But can we maybe do some trade deals with you, like non-accession pact? No. So most likely we can't do any deals with you. But oh well. But it's one by one. The nations in the world become dictatorships again, as they should be. I'm also selling a little bit technology to the Chinese and all that sort of stuff. Oh, and we got the armor designs level 5 research. Did that unlock any new research? It did actually. Spaced armor. Alright. And then improved mechanized design. Oh, is that going to be unlocking some of the... there's BTR there. Let's have a look. Yeah, that is a BTR is a new mechanized infantry, which I think it's going to be alright. It's amphibious, it's a hard target, and it does have some protection against chemical weapons and such. Oh, and then there's a BTR APC. Oh, right, this was the... yeah, that's an old one that's been in the research, or potential for research for a while, hasn't it? Oh, and BRDM is something that we could research now. I'm going to put that into the research queue, just for the heck of it. And anything in the anti-tank gun, there's BRDM2. I suppose it could be useful. It is at least amphibious. Oh, we do have the... oh, actually. It does have higher heart attack than the generic 90mm AT gun. Or the self-propelled AT. But at the same time, it's got less armor. It's a lot faster. Okay, yeah, we'll research that as well. We'll get some more units at least as an option. They might not be researching all of them or using all of them yet, but at least, you know, we've got more options to deal with later on. Is there any... ooh. Oh, there's a new one. Oh, and there's Shilkas. Those are pretty darn good to attack against the low targets. Not a massive range. I'm going to research that and that both. And then in the transports there's nothing new. Alright, well that's not too bad. That's going to keep our research busy for a little while. Luckily these don't take all that long to research. And we did get Iraq into the Warsaw Pact leaning group at least. They're not particularly friendly towards us yet. We are not supporting their ruling party. We could probably do that. Maybe we can get them into the faction that way, or maybe we won't. Who knows? Right, Czechoslovakia, are we supporting your... no, we're not. Okay, let's support the ruling party in Czechoslovakia. Maybe that'll keep them in our sphere a little bit more. Although we still have a massive inflation and all that, so we won't be able to do all that much, I'm afraid. Still got a lot of these troops that need to be moved across the desert here. But at least we've got... well, it's still 50% actually. But those supply depots are almost done. We've got 3 groups of infantry in here, or mostly tanks, a bit of infantry. We'll start moving these forward. We could start building up a bit of trenches again. And you can move even further. Now, I don't know, there's probably some sort of garrison in here. I don't know how good of a garrison it's going to be, but no doubt there is someone in there. There's 25% supplies in here. I don't know, we'll probably build up some supplies over there. Like another barracks perhaps, and maybe one supply depot. I don't want to go for full 100% there. The first one will be sufficient in that regard. High performance composites, that's going to unlock the modern industrial infrastructure, which is going to be extra 20% efficiency for the finished goods facilities. So that's really, really good. Oh, and Argentina has declared war on Chile. They also declared war on Peru at some point. So they are fighting a lot of wars in there. Don't know if they managed to get any of the troops through yet. Have we got... oh yeah, we got a tiny bit of supplies in here. That might be a problem of not having enough. Let's just bring these artillery pieces closer. We'll have them sit in the town there. I don't know if they'll have the range to fire on that. Probably not, actually. But if there's enemies coming closer, then we should be able to fire on some over here at least. Now, there is the port over there, so that's probably where they are coming from at times. They might still have some troops over here. Let's actually, you know what? We got spies, we can do that. We'll just do recon missions over here, and over here. It's going to cost us a little bit, and we're still losing a fair chunk of cash. Let's have a look at the other things that we can... We're still buying a lot of industrial goods. Large problem is that the... Well, I don't want to necessarily reduce the salaries or anything like that for the military, but we're producing a lot of troops still. And I suppose one thing that we could do... Do we still have full garrisons in here? We do. We can probably start reducing some of these. Because it's not seen any action in a long while. Oh, that one's already empty. That one's not empty. But there we go. That should help us a little bit with the expenditure. It's not massive impact, but every small bit that we can do will help. Speaking of which, we've got a massive amount of troops here. Still more approaching. Alright, let's just combine these into a bit smaller group there. And then this one can start making its way across the road, and then these can, or across the desert, and these can start moving south. We've got some infantry in here that will just keep slowly moving. And we'll have those, especially once we get into areas... Oh, hello. Are you gonna fire over those? Not really. But we can deal with that engineer quite quickly, I reckon. There we go. And we got the supply depots completed. And Czechoslovakia is back to non-aligned. Alright. Well, that's a bit unfortunate. If we have a look at the expenditure, so we can see that the treasury is still the biggest one. Research is still quite a big. I did reduce the research a little bit, so it's not quite as bad. The defense is still pretty massive. And the income, we get roughly the same from the taxes and the domestic sales of resources, so there is that. Okay, well, let's go ahead and deal with this Bren carrier here. There's not going to be a problem any longer. And, okay, there is a garrison in there, but it's a very small one. And not particularly strong one either. Let's get over there. Oh, I'm bringing something else in. There we go. Now we've got some of the troops in here. Oh, there's someone on the flank there. At least possibly. Right, we might want to start reducing some of the subsidies. Like, we can reduce the family subsidies to like 8 million. We can maybe reduce the healthcare rating a little bit, so we'll reduce like 4 million from there. Social assistance, we can probably reduce that to 1 million. Cultural subsidies will reduce to 2. Law enforcement rating, we want to keep pretty much as high as possible, although we could maybe reduce it to 17. Because it's saying that 17 is what it needs to be. We already reduced the family subsidies. The environment, we can, well, we'll keep it at 2 million. Education, we'll reduce to 15 million. Just getting a bit of savings from various locations. It's not going to be a massive amount, but it will hopefully help. And now that we've got the town here, let's just go ahead and build the barracks. And we'll build one supply depot. Right, with the supply trucks they are spreading my troops. Can be sometimes a bit annoying. Right, do we have more troops waiting here? We got the infantry slowly pushing through. Let's just have it follow through there. And we're getting more and more control in here over the desert. I suppose, especially now that we've got 100% supplies in here, that's going to be quite massive. Has it? I think it may have had a bit of impact in here as well. Although not as large as one might hope. But it is still there. Oh, there's an enemy moving about here. We got defenders at the... Oh, right, actually, what we should probably do is make sure that we resume construction on the airfield. Oh, we can see that there's stuff moving through here. Okay. Well, I suppose they're just trying to get into the various ports here. Oh, they do have a plane there. Huh. Alright. Oh, every now and then they try to get in here various locations, but they're not getting very far. Do we have another group ready? No, it's not ready yet. It's moving forward at least, but not ready. Another group that we can bring in. So we got a quite significant military already, and we don't have a lot of reserve personnel. So I think what I'll do, I'll just go through the various locations that are building troops right now, and making them not deployed troops quite yet. We've got quite a bit of the new specimens in here, actually. I'm just going to bring those into the Rostov region. Another group down here. Is that... Hold on a minute. Oh, that's missile production, alright. Because right now, we're not really in that desperate need of new units, in all fairness. Like, getting more units is nice and all that. But we've got quite a bit of troops already in, like, Algeria and all that sort of stuff region. Eventually we'll need more, but like that's when we start doing a landing in France or something. And even then, I don't know how much more than what we already have in Algeria we need. Well, Algeria and Corsica and what we have at Rostov and all that. So yeah, we got quite a bit of troops already. So at this stage, we don't actually need to be producing quite as much anymore, I reckon. And that's something that's taking quite a bit of military goods already. And the military goods isn't cheap to produce, although we also do need quite a bit of military goods overall still. And we've got so many trades that ongoing. Top importer is Finland for military goods. That's a bit of a surprise. Go ahead and build up the road a bit further in here. Once we reach down here, we'll start heading to the east. And did we get more troops here? We did. Right, so these are going to be guarding the southeastern side of the town. We can get this group probably to go to the other side. We've got a lot of these supply trucks in here. Which I suppose they are helping. Barely. But helping. What do we read? Oh, right, we got the high performance composite. Is that going to be... Well, it's going to be done after all the unit types, but that's fine. Like the unit types, again, they're not... Well, they're going to be taking a little bit more time. I suppose I could increase the project development back to the max. Which does mean a little bit more daily expenditure. I'm sure that there's things that we could actually sell that we've accumulated a lot. Like metal ore again. Sell another 20 million. Coal we've got quite a bit, but it's not going to be a good price for selling. I suppose we can just reduce the minimum price there to 3. We could maybe actually... We're actually selling a decent bit of it. We've got massive capacity in there, so I'm just going to reduce the production down to like 80%. That does mean that the production cost might go up a little bit. Petroleum, oh, the price has gone up to $8 now a barrel. But again, we don't really need all that much more. We've still got 100 million barrels of petroleum. And timber, we don't have a lot. Rubber, we got actually quite a large stockpile. So that's something that I could sell to Czechoslovakia to make them join back in our faction again, I suppose. Just double checking, we don't have... No, actually we are selling some rubber for them already. Well, I'll probably keep that as is then. They might offer a new trade after that expires. Just to keep the economy going. Right, we'll have one of these groups go along the border, just so that we can set up the defenders along the border and make sure that the French don't enter from there, at least not easily. Oh, and these don't actually have a garrison yet. Well, let's reinstate them. We could maybe bring in the artillery over here. I don't know if they'll be able to shoot in there. They might not have the vision. We'll give it a shot regardless. We can, of course, just use the bombard command over there. Although, since it's neutral territory, they might not be shooting that far. Yeah, they're not shooting that far. Never mind. Oh, there's an enemy moving through here. It's probably just a recon unit or something. I don't think it's going to be all that dangerous. But we might want to deal with it now rather than later. Oh, right, yeah, we're trying to get the infantry produced there. And Argentina or Ecuador. Oh, I realize what's going. It's all the NATO countries in South America are sending troops into Brazil, and then Argentina is fighting their troops in Brazil or something like that, which leads to more and more war. Actually, are you fighting how many nations now? Brazil, Chile, Ecuador, Peru, and Uruguay. So Paraguay is one of the few nations that you're not fighting, and that are neighboring you. There's a lot of combat over there. I don't know if Argentina will win this. I mean, they managed to advance pretty far overall in here. But they're now fighting a multi-front war. But at the same time, if they do win this... let's say they're going to take Uruguay, Brazil, Chile, and Peru out. So that's 4 of the NATO nations reduced. Technically speaking, yeah, if I just fund Argentina enough to basically conquer all of America, then that's going to reduce a lot of the nations. I don't know if they'll actually do it, but we can always try. A bit of a proxy war in there. Do we have any sort of... we could get a non-aggression pact with them. Ooh, actually, one thing that I could do is get the military access and all that. No, Ecuador is moving to NATO. Not surprised by the war declaration, to be fair. It was a war declaration against Ecuador. Yeah, it was. Okay, we've got a non-aggression pact with Argentina. What I'm going to do is... let's actually get the line of sight treaty, if we can. Just so that we can sort of see what's going on in here. Of course, that means that there's going to be a lot of combat noises, which might be a bit distracting. But, you know, if we could send in some expeditionary forces, say, like 30 units or something like that in here, I could just go ahead and start capturing places. Well, Santiago might be a little bit too difficult right now, but like capturing various places for the Argentinians. Maybe help first in Brazil, and then slowly but surely advance further. I mean, if we send in... ooh, actually, if we send in some of the new Spetsnaz from here... well, actually, they're not there yet, but once they reach there, I could send those into Argentina. It would take them quite a while to arrive there. And I don't know how much... I suppose we could first help them take out Uruguay. And then, you know, approach... or advance along the coastline of Brazil here. And get to somewhere around here at least. Now that might mean that we'll end up in a second war. Or more than one war extra, but we'll see. Now we do have supplies in here, whereas the enemies do not. So that is at least good for us. Start bringing some more infantry in here. Further south, and I suppose I could combine some of these into one group as well. Would be 6... no, it's 5 units. Okay, can we get another 2 from here somewhere? I'm sure we can. Just need to actually transport these over. Which is probably the biggest problem. Oh, wow, look at those supplies. Alright. Well, in that case, we can just sell all of these towards our location. And then these are going to have a bit of a problem, but it's not going to be too bad. Let's bring all of that in. We should have still some troops in here, which I'm just going to grab all of that. Only use or select the ground troops because there's a submarine at the port there, and just send those forward. So the submarine, from which group are you? You're from the ones that are at the... oh, we got already 2 with silver stars. Alright. That's good. So, did Argentina take the deal? I don't think they did. Okay, is there anything else that we could do with them? Say, transit treaty? They might accept that. Let's see if they will. But yeah, doing a proxy war in Argentina might actually be interesting, to say the least. But we'll need to be able to first probably focus down the stuff in Africa before we go down that route. It isn't a yeah, it was a recon unit, as I suspected. There we go. So that's dealt with. Is there... oh, there's someone going around again. Alright, we should have a bit more infantry along the way here. Some of these sit at the airfield for the time being. Got a few units over here that are, well, mostly sitting in here. And there we go, the reinforcements have arrived. Alright, let's just bring these further south. I'm guessing that, oh yeah, the supplies are pretty good in here. Up to this area. Further than that is not going to be quite as good. But as it stands, that's good enough. None of these roads have been completed yet. Oh. There's something done over there. Did they actually... alright, we are selling military goods to Egypt. Alright. I mean, that's money for us. Right, the helicopter refueling probe is almost done. It's going to unlock some of the things, although I don't know actually if it will unlock anything for us. We already have the... It doesn't have a model. So it's probably not going to be working as intended. Or it might, but I'm not going to take the risk. Not that we need helicopters right now, anyway. They can be useful, for sure, but we can survive without them. Right, so the next area to attack into would be all the way at the coast there. And we've not yet gotten that far, realistically speaking, but we can start moving some of these out and about. There's a unit over there, but we can deal with some of these enemies quite easily. And I suppose we've got another group of troops over here that we can start dividing up. Right, so we should be able to cover the eastern flank over there. For the time being, anyway. And slowly but surely we can probably continue this road as well. Not that we necessarily need to do that quite yet. Oh, Uruguay has been annexed. And we got the barracks done. Right, so Argentina, how are you doing? Is there anything... We got the non-aggression pact, but that's about it. Can we get say sea transit supply, at least? If we could get that, we could... well, there's not going to be any French stuff in here, is there? At least probably not all that much. But there we go, they've managed to remove one of the enemies. Well done, Argentina. Oh, we're selling more military goods to them. You know what, we could maybe sell them some... like the Spetsnaz unit design at least. And then maybe the tanks, like the T-10s. Or the artillery perhaps, although it doesn't look like we've got any artillery that they can use. Or I mean, they can probably use, but they're not necessarily all that great. So the AA gun design as well. And then maybe in the submarines can we sell... no, there's nothing in there that they need. A couple of the capital ships maybe. And the escort. We'll be selling that for 60 million. That'll be fine. But yeah, no, Argentina is actually doing fairly well in here. Helicopter refueling probe has been researched, so the next thing is going to be yet another ground unit type. Oh, there's the enemy. Let's start sending some more troops to clear out some of these flanking individuals here. Right, we don't have a trench underway in most of these areas yet. But again, like that, they will not be coming through here for all that long necessarily. Once they've sort of been stopped, they'll usually just not go through there anymore after a while. Let's go ahead and send in these troops along the coast. I want to get into the... or along the road here towards the coast because I want to get that airfield before the end of the episode. Because we don't have a massive amount of supplies in here yet. It will start spreading from here though. It's already 46% there overall. That should already help quite drastically. And then of course we got a fair bit of extra troops in here that we could just move south. We'll leave a few units in here as a sort of a backup. In case some of them get through. Right, so how's our supply situation? Already 14% and 5% there, so we're getting control of more and more. We could actually use these troops to cut off the enemy over here at the village. I don't know if they have any garrisons there. I think it's worth a probing. Right, so at least there's a decent bit of trade going on, and some of it is actually making us a good amount of money. But yeah, overall we still have quite a deficit in here. We managed to increase the income from our taxes and all that a tiny bit, but still not quite sufficient. Right, so how's the supply situation? It should be spreading through here fairly quickly, but it will take probably a couple of days to reach down this way. So that gives the enemy a little bit of time to react to our spearheads here. Move these down south a bit further, and that one could start moving along the future road here. So let's actually start building more of the road. Wait, that was rail, wasn't it? Okay, so South Africa is wanting to get some more consumer goods. We've got a pretty decent stockpile, so we can probably trade. You know what, I'm just going to put auto accept on that. If they are good trade deals, so might as well accept them. That's at least going to give us a bit of passive income again. Well, somewhat passive income. And the unemployment has increased to 3.8%, so that is, again, a little bit closer to the values that I would want it to be. Usually, you probably don't want it to go below 4%. If you go 3% or below, then you are going to have serious problems. So we've managed to keep it at least above 3%, pretty much the entire duration of the game. But it's been sometimes quite a bit below the 4% value, which is not ideal. You know, sometimes you need to take a bit of risk. Let's just out of curiosity see if we can just capture that town without fight. There might not be any garrisons. There was no garrisons. Alright, stay on the town there. I'll bring these further south. They might still have some troops in here, but probably not that many. And Argentina, we haven't actually managed to get any more deals with them. Not other than selling the things. We get the mutual defense. Does that mean that I can then get maybe the full transit treaty? They might take it, they might not give it to me, to be fair, but they managed to advance pretty far already in there. Another thing that they'll probably need to deal with is Chile. And that's going to be a little bit more difficult. With enough infantry, I could probably take it for them. But I need to have the transit treaty first, which we don't yet have. This is capturing more there. I'm actually a bit surprised that they're doing this well. Alright, let's move in these troops further south. We still haven't taken the port here. Okay, we do have pretty good supplies in here now, so we can probably just push pretty much all the way in. There are some troops defending. Let's get in position and start moving in. But those garrisons are no match for our troops. Oh, and that's actually a port that the enemy is trying to bring in troops through, isn't it? Yeah. They brought in another tank. Move you into the hex itself, and then those can go a little bit to the side. Along the, or north along the coast there, and then we can just move in some more troops. Actually, we want to capture that first, and then go over that way. Go west some. Alright, but we are unfortunately out of time for this episode, so if you enjoyed this, please like or subscribe if you haven't already. Also check out the links down below in the description, but other than that, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye bye.